Hi and welcome to the lesson about metadata. In your data engineering life, you will probably first deal with data. So the things that described real events, like for example clicks, like for example viewing a movie or stuff like that. But with time, I think that you will also see and appreciate the presence of metadata. So these extra attributes that gives much more context to the data. So for example, you can imagine that you are working as a consumer for an Apache Kafka topic, and in the header you receive the information about the producer version, about the type of the event, whether it was a backfilled or live event or any other interesting technical information that can help you understand what you are processing better. And the metadata is nothing new because you're certainly navigating on the internet and you certainly saw the meta tags in HTML documents, and they are exactly the same. They have exactly the same purpose as metadata in data systems because they describe the web page with extra parameters. So here you can see that it's an UTF-8 document that it has specific viewport. There's an extra description for that will show on the search engines, and there is also an information about the author. And it's an extra context that can be also considered as a shortcut for understanding what's happening in the page, and it's exactly the same definition we can apply to the metadata in the context of data systems. Because metadata in the data world helps in various places. So for the unstructured data, for example, if you want to detect the hour of a picture, you don't need to analyze the picture with deep learning or any other complex technology. You simply check the tag annotating the timestamp of the picture. You can also get information about location. So there is for this shortcut part that you can take if you work with unstructured data. There is also the lineage. So for example, the raw origin I have mentioned, whether the data is coming from real-time pipeline or from the backfill process. Depending on that, in your consumer side, you can apply different strategies. So for example, if it's backfilling, you can take this data, write it in a different place, or you can maybe trigger a backfilling pipeline on your own. So there's different things you can do, but you cannot do them if you don't know that the data that you are receiving is from the backfill process. And finally, dataset summary is also a great example. Apache Parquet is a columnar data format that stores the statistics for the data contained in the image block. And for example, with min and max statistics, we can perform some smart data skipping and avoid reading the blocks that doesn't contain the data we are looking for. For example, for this data lineage, because I think that it will be the most common use case for streaming part, we can imagine that the data producer has a job version, has a generation context, and it completes the data to deliver with this information plus the processing time. So where the data gets processed, it can be very useful to maybe, for example, calculate the end-to-end latency for your system, and also the completeness level. For example, if you have some schema with optional fields, you can use this percentage to show how many of these optional fields are defined or not. If this parameter, if this information is useful for the downstream consumers, and so enriched data will be later aggregated, wrapped, and sent to the target, so to our Apache Kafka topic. And the format can be different. So the first format uses the header. So header is a native metadata attribute available on streaming brokers, like for example in Apache Kafka, and is physically separated from the data. So you can either read header alone or data alone or both. The second strategy that we'll probably use in the data sources, data stores without this header layer is wrapper. So you simply wrap your data with a higher level structure, and you add the metadata part to this structure. And here you have no choice, unfortunately. You have to take the whole message, so the data and the metadata, in your processing logic. And that's all for this lesson. It was short, but believe me, sooner or later you will start to really appreciate the power the metadata give you. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next lesson.